Hi, today I'm going to show you how to use the database attach method to upgrade shared services and My Sites from SharePoint Server 2007 to SharePoint Server 2010. When you use a database attach upgrade method, you need to reconfigure your services and settings before you can bring your data over and upgrade the sites. The process for upgrading the SSP database and My Sites has a lot of steps, so I'll start with an overview of the process and then demo the steps. To upgrade, first I need to set up the application pool for the user profile service. Then, make sure that the managed metadata service is created and running. When you create the metadata service, it creates a new managed metadata database as well. Next, I turn on the user profile service and upgrade the SSP database. The user profile service now has two databases, the profile database and the social tagging database. After upgrading the SSP database, I need to create a new proxy for the user profile service application and associate it with the default proxy group. Then, I update the permissions for the user profile service. I'll start the user profile synchronization service, which also has its own database. Okay, the services are ready, and now I can start on the My Sites. First, I set up the My Site host URL. Then, I attach the content databases that contain the My Sites and upgrade the My Sites themselves. There are a couple of more steps to fix up the metadata terms and profile photos too, but that's the process in a nutshell. Now let's get going with the actual steps. When I created my new farm, I used the Farm Configuration Wizard and accepted the defaults to set up the user profile and user profile synchronization service applications. I need to create a new instance of those services so that I can upgrade the data from the SSP database. I'll use Windows PowerShell to set up an application pool for the user profile service. I run new SP service application pool and type a name and an account. That runs and creates the new application pool. Now I'll check to make sure that the managed metadata service is ready to go over in Central Administration. I go to Manage Service Applications. There's the service, and it's started. So that's ready. Now to enable the user profile service and upgrade the SSP database. Back to the management shell, use the new SP profile service application commandlet. I type the application pool that I created before, a name, and the SSP database that I backed up and restored earlier. Now this step upgrades that database, so depending on how big the SSP database is, this step can take an hour or more. But through the magic of video, it's pretty quick here. Now for the next step, I need the ID for the service application I just created. I can use the Get SP Service Application commandlet to return the set of service applications that includes the ID that I need. I'll run the commandlet, and then I can mark and then copy the profile service application ID that I need. Okay, onto the proxy. Still in the SharePoint management shell, I use the new SP profile service application proxy commandlet. I paste the service application ID, type the name, and then use the default proxy group property to make sure it gets into the default group. Now I can update the permissions for the user profile service. Back over to Central Administration. On the Manage Service Applications page, I click the User Profile Service Application row and then click Administrators in the ribbon. I type the service account I want to use and click Add. I give it full control and click OK. Now I'll start the User Profile Service and the User Profile Synchronization Service. In Central Administration, I go to Manage Services on Server. I find the User Profile Service and click Start. Then I find the User Profile Synchronization Service and click Start. On the User Profile Synchronization Service page, I pick the User Profile Service I just created, and then I type and confirm the service account password and click OK. So now I could reapply any profile sync settings from my old farm to my new farm. If I had connections, property mappings, filters, things like that, I could apply them now. Alright, it's finally time to upgrade the My Sites. First, I'll set up the My Site host URL. This is part of the User Profile Service application settings. So in Central Administration, I go to the Manage Profile Service page, and here I click Set up My Sites. I'll put in the new host location and personal site location. The host is the main root site for the My Sites. The personal site location is a managed path that all the My Sites will have in their URL. The default is personal, so I'll just go with that. I also need to set up the string to use for the email notifications. It does not need to be a real email address, so I put in something that makes sense to me as a sent by address. Now I need to reset IIS from the command prompt. I open the command prompt, type IIS reset, and I always use the no force flag when I reset. It stops and starts, and we're ready to move on. Okay, time to test and then attach the My Sites database. Back to Windows PowerShell, I'll use the test sp content database commandlet to test the content database that has the My Sites. I type the name of the database and the web application to test it against, and then I let it run. The test returns no errors, so now I can use Mount SP Content Database to attach and upgrade the My Sites content database. Again, I type the database name and the web application to attach it to, and then let it run. Now here's my usual caveat that this can take a while, depending on the size of your database. But I've sped this up so it won't take long at all. And it's done. And that's it for the databases. There are a couple of more steps to finish up the work for profile services. I'll upgrade the profile properties to taxonomy data first. I need to find the name for the specific property I want to move, so I use the Manage User Properties page to do that. On the Manage User Properties page, I click the name I want to migrate, and then click Edit to get the string I need for the Windows PowerShell command. There's the property name. Back in the SharePoint Management Shell, I need the proxy ID for the User Profile Service again. Okay, now here comes a long Windows PowerShell commandlet. Move SP Profile Managed Metadata Property is the commandlet, and I need to paste in the proxy ID I looked up. and then type in the identity. That's the name of the property that I want to move. I can optionally use the Available for Tagging flag if I want to make it available for managed metadata tagging, but I don't do that if the term set has more than 20,000 terms with this property. It'll really hit my client performance. Alright, that's updated. I also need to update the photo store data. To do that, in Windows PowerShell, I use Update SP Profile Photo Store. I just need the MySite host URL, and it will update the photo store information for me. That's it. Now for a database attach upgrade, there are several more steps to perform after the upgrade, so be sure to read the article Perform Post-Upgrade Steps for a Database Attach Upgrade. Thanks for watching.